Fellas, I noticed something about my motor. After a long day of fishing, I'm getting a weird knock. And I may need to come in here and check the, what do you call it, on the valves, the seating on the valves or whatever. But I think it's because the engine is just running a little hot. I'm definitely running a little higher RPM. I just want to let you, this is a tutorial. You can control the RPM. This is what controls the RPM. This is the governor arm, okay? And there's a spring and a return, and that's what ultimately gives you control over the motor. When you do the throttle, you don't have direct control over how much gas is actually being dumped into the carburetor. It's the governor that controls it. And if you get over a certain RPM, that governor will kick in and slow down the engine to keep it from over revving. You can change that by adjusting this screw. You can actually change the amount of tension on the governor, and I've got it dialed back pretty good so I can get a good bit more RPM. And it's fine when I first crank it up and head up the river and beginning of the day, but by the end of the day, the motor is just, you end up catching a bunch of fish, the boat is leaking some and takes on a little bit of water, and so the engine doesn't run as good. And it's true with all these little motors like this. They lose something after they've been running a long time. So what we've done here is we're going to just dial that back down just a little bit. It's about a nice cruising speed as to what I remember. I know the position that I like to keep this throttle lever in. So if you were to just dial this all the way back out and remove this screw altogether, the engine would essentially turn freely, because it'd be so, by definition, it'd be so little, the governor would have so little tension on it that you basically are overriding the governor. That's not what you want. And my standard policy, if you're going to run higher than normal RPMs, basically higher than 3600, billet rod, billet flywheel. Now for this one, I kept the governor in, so it's not going to go over a certain RPM, and I have a billet flywheel in here. But it's standard rod, because I'm not running at super high speeds. But because we are putting more air and fuel into the engine, we do have a little bit more advanced timing because of the billet flywheel. We got a better spark plug. Although the spark plug is colder, the flywheel has a stronger magnet which sends a bigger spark, so everything's operating more efficiently. Technically, you're getting a bigger burn, but I think we're just pushing the RPM just a touch, a little bit too much. So we're going to back it down. So yeah, that top dead center, that's maybe, I turned it in maybe a quarter of a turn, half a turn. No, that's not true. Maybe about 2 full turns. And that's going to give me just a little bit fewer RPMs, because I don't go fast anyway. It's not a go fast engine, it's a work engine. So we're going to see how that turns out in terms of that slight knock that I hear. It's just all engines knock under a heavy load, and these engines are definitely under a heavy load, but turn back the RPMs, good to go. It's always best to get a tachometer so you'll know what your RPM is, and just keep it at 3600 and don't worry about it. See ya. Yeah, I'm gonna go.